Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because she's back. The one, the only Miss Melissa Rivers.
Good morning.
What is going on, Melissa? How are you today?
Oh, I am upright and awake, and so pretty dang good.
I would ask you what you've been up to since the last time you were here, but you wrote a book.
I wrote a book. So
Lies,
that's
lies my
Life,
mother told me.
Tall Tales from a Short Woman.
I love it. So that's not, you've been using your time wisely.
I try and use my time wisely. Not always, doesn't always work that way, but there you go.
How did this book come about?
How did this book come about? My writing partner and I were sort of thinking about what we wanted to do next. This is my fourth book and my third with him. Third with him? Yeah, third with him. And originally we wanted to write a diary from my point of view. And then we're like, well, what are we going to talk about? Everyone's life is interesting, but not daily interesting. We're like, oh, that's going to be a tough one. And so we started making up these crazy stories, literally making them up about my mom. And then we're like, oh, this is good. Lies, all lies. And, we were living in such a factually challenged world. And when we started it with COVID and the whole, everything crazy that was going on. And we're like, what would she be saying? And we just started writing all these lies. So we would take a topic and be like, what would be the most outrageous thing someone could say? And then we put it in my mom's mouth.
Wow. Is there one of these lies that sticks out? She gave you the talk, quote unquote, that Disneyland was the greatest place on earth. Like, I've read the book. Is there anything that stands out as like the most preposterous or funnest lie to kind of come up with?
Oh, there were so many. I loved coming up with creation versus evolution. That was the first one we wrote, which just still makes it first Thanksgiving, meeting the Pope, the last brunch. What were some of my other favorites? That's a big lie that Disneyland is half, the four horsemen, HOWRE, of the apocalypse.
How did you listen? You read the book as someone who's read the book, and you hear Joan Rivers' voice in this. I know she's your mom. You were very close to her, but like, how did you really believe that all of these are truths as you're reading them?
That's the thing is people keep going, did she really say these things? It's like, no, she did not meet the Pope at theater while he was standing in line for the men's room. And I was having dinner with someone last night and they were like, well, he could have gone to theater. I'm like, but he would not be standing in line for the men's room. There'd be a little thing called security. Like, come on, people, like, get with it.
That's the great thing about the book, though, because as I was reading it, I was like, some of these have to be true. I'm like, this sounds like Joan. This sounds like something she would say to you. So that's really
it's done.
Yeah.
The most honest thing is the very beginning and the very end, the conversation with her best friend, Margie.
Right.
That is an actual conversation that I had. I told you not to tell Margie. Well, I didn't tell Margie. Well, Margie doesn't know the people. Still, what I asked you not to tell. Well, if you knew I was going to tell her, so why'd you tell me? Because Mom, you're supposed to be, those are the two real moments in the book.
Right. How is this different than your other books? Like you said, you wrote 3 other books. How is this different?
Oh, vastly different. One was a coffee table book. So that's different. One was the book of Joan that I wrote after my mom passed that had, a lot. I think it was a bit, more grounded in reality.
Right.
And then I wrote a book a long time ago called Red Carpet Ready.
Right.
So this is a very much a departure.
On a serious note, what is some of the best life advice your mom gave you that you find yourself pulling on a daily basis or weekly or monthly basis?
Well, it really comes from what our family sort of motto was, which is a sort of bastardized version of a Winston Churchill quote: when you find yourself in hell, keep walking. And that was, and also this too shall pass, which is meant for good and bad. And people are always like, what do you mean? Well, when things are bad, remember this too shall pass. But when things are good, remember that that'll pass too. So to appreciate them.
That's good advice. I mean, and it's true, right? It's true of
It's
every
true.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, you did talk about Thanksgiving in the book. And, listen, for someone who does live in New York, not everyone's Thanksgiving ends up on page 6. Your mother's Thanksgivings are legendary. Do you have a favorite memory throughout all the years of this epic Thanksgiving that you threw every year?
I think I remember the warmth, and I'll start over.
Sorry.
It's okay. 3, 2. I think I always remember the warmth, and there was sort of a glow to her apartment and this lighting and this, and it was so beautiful. And that's what I always flash on. And, just such a huge part of our tradition. Now our family flies out to my house, but we still have the same dishes, the same glassware, all the same traditions. And it's very important. It was a very important holiday for all of us all through our lives.
Did you, I know your mom had butlers and a staff and lots of people helped put this on, but it still takes a lot to plan something and end up did you inherit that gene from her? Are you a good planner of putting things together?
I have a great caterer who knows what I like and has done other things for me and has done stuff for my mom when she was out here. So we have it pretty dialed in.
That's good. Do you have a favorite?
I don't have her creative eye. I do not have her decorating gene. She's the kind of person that could walk into a warehouse and tell you immediately how to make it spectacular. I walk in and go, it's a warehouse.
Right. I'm more like you. Well, you just moved again, you mentioned. So are you just I'm telling you, I said this to you the first time you were here. Are you just you're just becoming Jeff Lewis now. You like flipping houses.
No, I don't. I actually just worked with Jeff on his new project. But no, I don't like it. I don't like change. I don't like any of that. I don't do well adjusting to new spaces. I'm great going from hotel to hotel. Yes. But when it comes to where I live, I'm I get that horrible displaced feeling until I get settled. In the middle of the night last night, I got up because I didn't like how my bathroom drawers were arranged, and I started to rearrange them. And then I realized I really screwed up.
Does this need to be done now? Right.
Right. And then I just took everything and threw it back in the drawers. So this morning it was shit, where is everything?
Is this going to be your last move? Once you move into and you're in a rental now, once you move into the next house?